We're invited here to talk about poverty. And as you know, New Brunswick is involved in trying to develop a poverty reduction initiative. But you've talked a lot about inequality, and here, and you talked about the taxing system. In the last budget, we just had to reduce the 4 level of taxes to 2 levels here in New Brunswick. So that's going a little bit against what you're proposing, that we tax people higher. But the other part that we're talking about, and when we're talking about reduction of poverty in New Brunswick, is to get the private sector into the, as a stakeholder or whatever.
Right.
So, that's a big, right now we're talking about, we're going to get the community organization, government and public sector to work together. But I want to have kind of an idea of what you're thinking about when we're talking about the public sector in New Brunswick, when the same public sector that's talking, or part of it's talking about reducing poverty, but on the other level doesn't want to put pay equity legislation, is fighting against pay equity legislation. Yeah. It's fighting against having public child care, and it's fighting against raising the minimum wage, and has been fighting to reduce the level of taxes. So how do you see that you have the reality in New Brunswick of one of supposed partners in reducing poverty, but on the other hand, what they're fighting or pushing is all these, against these public programs that would help reduce poverty?
Well, let me first say I'm not an expert, and this is not a cop-out. But I actually did try to do this when I was a politician too. If I went into a region and didn't know the details of that region, I didn't portray myself as an expert. But to take one of the, I'm in favor of the principle of pay equity, absolutely. I have been all my adult life, fought for it when I was leader of the NDP in Ottawa. I don't know what the situation is in New Brunswick on that, but I'm in favor of it. It may be dispute over a certain kind of program. I'm in favor across the board in Canada of raising minimum wages. And I was pleased to hear a report of some of the hearings that a minister who introduced me was telling me that a number of he or someone else at the meetings earlier today were reporting on the hearings saying major parts of the business community, which did surprise me, I was pleased to hear, are prepared to support an increase in the minimum wage. And I would like that to happen because, and again, I read the document that was produced in June quoting a lot of people from New Brunswick, and one of them accurately said, well, people are poor because they don't have money. and one way of getting people to have money is to have higher minimum wage levels. The federal government has given up responsibility for that many years ago, and now, I think the policy, and I stand to be corrected, the federal government simply tries to base its federal minimum wage on an average or something like that of the provinces, rather than setting the standards. There was a time when the federal minimum wage was higher than the others to set a standard. So I can't pass judgment because I don't know the details well enough of the government here now. I praise them for launching the program. I made careful reference to the fact I want to see what they do when they get the report in with it. I will say that even, dare I say it, an NDP government, I said earlier to someone over dinner, sometimes you have to implement an agenda over time. Tommy Douglas first promised health care to people of Saskatchewan. The first promise, I think, was made in 1948. We got elected in 44. Made in 48, did not come until 62. Because he had to wait till the government had the resources to do it, and also in the political sense that he knew it was going to be a big fight, so people had enough confidence in his government to do it. So progressive governments, even if the progressive can't do everything at the same time, and I suppose the real test, whether it's the government here in New Brunswick or anywhere else, is are they being as progressive as they can be? And the one thing I'm really stressing here, though, and I want to